Audio Jungle.
The largest economy in Southeast Asia, Indonesia, a diverse archipelago nation of more than 300 ethnic groups, has charted impressive economic growth since overcoming the Asian financial crisis of the late 1990s. Today, Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous nation and 10th largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity. Further, Indonesia has made economic gain in poverty reduction, cutting the poverty rate by more than half since 1999 to under 10% in 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Indonesia is pursuing a 20 years development plan spanning from 205 to 2025. The plan is segmented into 5 years medium-term development plans called RPJMN, Rencana Pembangunan Jangka Menengah Nasional, each with a different set of development priorities. The current plan, the last phase of 20 years vision, aims to further strengthen Indonesian economy by improving the country's human capital and competitiveness in the global market.
From 2017 to 2024, Indonesia inflation rate is low by using monetary policy tools. The country's central bank Indonesia can effectively manage inflationary pressure as a result of shifting commodity price and global economic conditions, including the COVID-19 pandemic. Indonesia's consumer price inflation in the 10 years to 2024 is 4.1%, above the Asia-Pacific region average of 2.1%. The inflation rate in 2024 is 4.2%.
Now, my name is Muhammad Rashadina. Today, we discuss the issue of inflation in Indonesia. We discuss the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing lockdowns. Globally, inflation has significantly eroding purchasing power and causing widespread concern. In Indonesia, the inflation rate of the calendar year 2022 from January to August stand at 3.63%. The year-on-year inflation rate from August 2022 to August 2021 in 4.69%. According to the statistic, Borneo, despite this number, Indonesia inflation rate remains lower than the global average, 8.8%, the 9.9 inflation in developing countries, and the 7.2 rate in developed countries, as reported by the IMF. However, inflationary pressures are predicted to increase due to rising demand post-pandemic. Global food price relatively higher price for both subsidies and unsustainable food, and additional costs for essential food. And the second one, in Indonesia, food price play a major role in both total inflation and economic stability. These costs vary due to a number of factors, each having distinct impact of the price of food. First, import dependencies are crucial, as Indonesia import essential items like sugar, soybeans, wheat, and other staple food. Change in the global commodity price directly impact the local pricing of this import. Additionally, exchange rate influence the cost of imported item when the rupiah weakens again of the currency. The cost of import next. Cost of inflation in Indonesia. Cost push inflation in the process drop, which rising production costs drive up the cost of completed goods and services. In Indonesia, this type of inflation is caused by several factors. Changes in global oil price significantly influence production and transportation expenses. Additionally, Indonesia imports a substantial amount of intermediate goods and raw materials, so any increase in the wood price impact domestic production costs. Moreover, a decline in the value of the Indonesian rupiah can raise the cost of import, further increasing monetary expense. The second one, when there is a greater demand than the supply for a product and services, price rise, leading to demand pull inflation. In Indonesia, this can be driven by several key factors: rapid economic growth, increased investment and consumer spending. As more people have money to spend, business feel confident at spending, despite in demanding can surpass the economy. ability to provide goods and service at the current resulting in inflation. Additionally, increased government spending on social services and infrastructure can raise demand. When the government invests in infrastructure projects like school, hospital, bridge, and roadways, it significantly stimulates the economy. This not only creates jobs and income for those directly involved, but also boosts the demand for material, machinery, and the services needed for those projects. Furthermore, social programs that ensure welfare, healthcare, and education increase people's purchasing power, further raising the demand for goods and services.
Now with me, Ifwat bin Muhammad Rafai. Effect of inflation in Indonesia. Indonesia inflation rate has been relatively mild compared to global peers, peaking at 5 until 6% in the second half of 2022. The government price intervention and subsidy have contributed to this, but these measures can have unfavorable long-term effects. To mitigate the impact of inflation on public consumption, especially among lower middle income groups, the government has taken measures such as importing more rice, stabilizing food price, and providing fertilizer subsidies. By the end of 2024, overall inflation is predicted to be 3.2% annually, with a little upward tide. Maintaining inflation within the central bank's goal range is crucial to preserve buying power and promote economic expansion.
When inflation becomes a concern, government often turn to strategies to stabilize prices. One method is through price controls, where caps or floors are set on specific goods to prevent rapid price hikes. Coupled with wage controls, this approach aims to curb inflationary pressures driven by increasing costs. Another effective tool is contractionary monetary policy, which has gained popularity. This strategy involves central banks like Indonesia's rising interest rates to reduce the money supply in the economy. By making borrowing more expensive, consumers and businesses tend to spend less, thereby easing demand-side inflationary pressures. Additionally, the discount rate, the interest rate at which central banks lend to commercial banks, plays a crucial role. By increasing this rate. Central banks encourage banks to opt for safer investment like government securities over riskier ventures, thereby cooling economic growth and inflationary trends. These measures are critical in Indonesia's effort to maintain economic. Let's break down the theories economists use to understand inflation. The quantity theory of money posits that an increase in the money supply leads to higher prices across the economy. Essentially, more money purchasing the same amount of goods can drive inflation upward. On the other hand, the demand pull theory suggests that when demand outpaces supply, prices rise as consumers compete to limited goods and services. Additionally, the cost push theory highlights that inflation can also stem from increased production costs such as rising wages or raw material prices, forcing businesses to pass these costs on to consumers. These economic theories provide insight into how Indonesia's developmental strides manage to complete interplay of economic growth and price stability.
The unemployment situation in Indonesia has become a complex challenge influenced by various economic, social and democratic factors. Historical, Indonesia has struggled with high rates of informal employment, which often complicates effort to accurately measure and address unemployment. In recent years, Indonesia's unemployment rate has shown fluctuations influenced by both domestic and global economic conditions. Before the COVID-19 outbreak, the unemployment rate was relatively stable, hovering around 5 to 6%. However, the outbreak has had a significant impact on Indonesia's labor market, causing job losses particularly in sectors such as tourism, hospitality, and manufacturing. Government intervention, including stimulus package and social assistance program, are aimed at reducing the impact of the pandemic on employment. Despite this effort, unemployment rates rose temporarily during the peak of the pandemic, reflecting broader economic challenge. Structural issues such as skill mismatch, regional disparity, and the dominance of informal employments remain percentage issue in the Indonesia labour market. Young unemployment in particular is a concern, with the majority of the population under the age of 13 facing challenge in accessing quality education and employment opportunities.
Lastly, now we're going to talk about issue of unemployment in Indonesia. Indonesia has the last year of population and year of unemployment remains significant issue. Many young people face challenges in finding employment due to a lack of experience, a skill mismatch, and inadequate education and training system that not align with a market demand. Second one, there is a sizable education and skill gap in Indonesia. As the country education system often fail to meet labor market demands, many graduates find that their degree-related skills fall short of what employers seek, leading to high rates and of underemployment and unemployment among educated individuals. This mismatch means graduates may have the academic accreditation, but often lack the technical know how real world experience and practical skill that employer high value. Consequently, they face difficulties in securing appreciate job opportunities. As a celebrating the issue of educated unemployment and highlighting the need for more flexible and responsive educational structure that better prepare learners for workforce realities.
Then, cause of unemployment in Indonesia. Indonesia labour market face significant challenge. First, high population growth and expanding labour force. Indonesia's dense population has caused the labour force to expand faster than new jobs are created. Second, imbalance between labour supply and demand. There is an imbalance as there are not as many job openings as there are job seekers. Third, weak economic growth. During periods of weaker economic development, such as the 2011 until 2015 recession, the creation of new jobs has decreased. Fourth, impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic disruption led to a sharp rise in the unemployment rate in 2020. Last, minimum wage concern. Excessive minimum wages may deter firms from expanding their workforce, exacerbating unemployment. To address this challenge, the government needs to implement policy that promote job creation, support school to work transition, and ensure the efficient utilization of the country's large and growing labour force. Furthermore, effects of unemployment. High unemployment rates can have significant negative effects on productivity and economic growth. The main reasons include lower productivity. Unemployment means that people are not contributing to the production process, leading to a decline in economic output and slower economic growth. Next, social and welfare concern. Unemployment often leads to poverty, which can result in a drop in living standard and general welfare. Then, crime and social unrest. Unemployed individuals may resort to criminal activity, leading to increased crime rates and societal instability. Continue. human capital waste. Unemployment means that human resources are not being fully utilized, resulting in a waste of potential and skills. Last, demographic challenge. Indonesia's large and expanding population offer a demographic advantage but can also raise unemployment if not managed properly. This negative effect highlight the importance of maintaining low and stable unemployment rates to support sustainable economic growth and development. Lastly, suitable policy to overcome unemployment. Governments can implement various policies to boost job creation and economic growth. These include: first, fiscal policy. Tax incentive. Government can offer tax breaks to encourage income and job creation. Easing repayment terms. Government can ease repayment terms for loans and other financial obligations to make it easy for people to work. Second, monetary policy. Low interest rates. Central banks can keep interest rates low to promote economic expansion and job creation. Third, revenue policy. Investment in labor-intensive business. Government can invest in labor-intensive business to boost employment prospects and generate more job openings. 4. Global economic strategy. Trade agreement. Government can enter into trade agreement to boost exports and generate additional employment possibility in competitive sector. Social assistance and education. Efficiency and expertise training. Government can offer training program through organization like Balai Latihan Kerja to improve people's ability and perspective. This policy can help create more job opportunities and stimulate economic growth.
So, for conclusion, for unemployment and inflation, in Indonesia, the interlinked issue of unemployment and inflation present major challenge and they require multi-phase solution. The country has experienced fluctuations in both indicators. Unemployment remains a constant concern, especially among the young and in urban areas, affected by factors such as skill mismatch, informal employment, and regional disparities. Addressing this issue requires target policies to improve vocational education and training.